Well, Mickey, we'll start off with the final game of the season. We're looking ahead to Leicestershire. And while it's been a difficult few weeks, it's been a difficult season really, there is an opportunity to end on a positive and show what we're going to be trying to do next summer, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. You know, every game we go into wanting to win. We'll put our best foot forward, give it 110% like we have done all season, and see where that gets us. With one eye on what we're going to do next season, in terms of changing up a batting order, etc. You know, try and have a look at different options and potentially different places, and see what we get from that. But we're going to be giving it 100% shot without a doubt.
Yeah, and you know there have been even in the last few weeks there have been some positives to take. More so the emergence of young players. You see Harry Moore's come in and had 2 fantastic games. Mitch Wagstaff had to come in as a concussion replacement for Lewis Rees mid-game against Middlesex. Battled really nicely on day 2. They're the future, aren't they? They're the players you want to blood into the team, and they've taken to it well so far.
Yeah, of course they have, and that's great to see. That's what you want. You know, at one point our squad was just a little bit small to really create that internal competition, and every good squad has that internal competition. So that's something we'll try and foster as our squad starts getting bigger and bigger, and we get a little bit more game time into the younger players and see what they can do. That breeds a little bit of competition within the squad, and that's how it should be. There should be that competition which eggs on performance, and then with poor performance there's consequences. Whereas with a small squad, it's quite hard to get that balance right.
Yeah, and you started building the squad for 2025. We announced this week that Caleb Jewell will be coming in. The batting has been an issue this season. I think it's fair to say. Been far too many collapses. What will Caleb bring at the top of the order which can address that?
Yeah, look. You rightly say. You know, batting has been a bit of an issue this year. Not that our batsmen are. You know, as I say, I'll back every guy in the squad. We've got some very, very fine players there. But we needed to strengthen it. We needed to bring like a Daniel Hughes at Sussex. We needed to bring in a guy that could set tone for us, probably at the top of the order. And Caleb was a guy that I'd had my eye on for a long period of time. I've spoken to George Bailey about him. Ian Bell came back 2 years ago from Hobart, doing the Hobart Hurricanes, and mentioned Caleb to us. So I'd kept my eye very firmly on Caleb over a while, and it was the right time to move because we needed to strengthen in our batting department, and we needed a guy that could probably lead it from the front.
Yeah, and another player who's come in for next season, but we've had a little look at earlier, is Martin Anderson. Made his debut against Northlands, did very well with the ball. Will play against Leicestershire, I would imagine. He has an opportunity really to show supporters what he can do before having a full run at it in 2025.
Yeah, of course he does. What he does do, what I like, is he's a genuine all-rounder. So he brings depth to your batting and he brings depth to your bowling. He's potentially he's a third seamer for you, but he's also potentially could be a top 6 batsman. So he's almost 2 roles in one person, which creates depth again in both our batting and our bowling, which is something that I've wanted to do, which we not necessarily had this year. So I'm really excited about Martin. He's fitted in really well. He's trained well. He's trained hard. So really happy with where he's at.
Yeah. We'll now take a look back at the season gone, and I think it's important to maybe address that the red ball and white ball seasons were different. Yeah. The red ball season has been disappointing.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. The white ball season arguably was more about missed opportunities. And maybe just not managing games at certain times, not maybe taking chances when they presented themselves. When you look at the 2 or 3 separate formats, how do you kind of sum up the season that's gone?
I think you've summed it up well. I'm really disappointed with our red ball season. Mm. Now, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for it, but we had planned really well. I thought early on we'd gone for the 2-seamer option, Amir and Blair Tickner, and for different reasons we didn't have them at the start of the year. meant our budget was down. We battled to replace them, and hence we found Darren, who fitted into our squad really nicely. So our Red Bull season just never ever seemed to get any momentum. We were rained out the first game. We didn't get on the park for 4 days. Other sides around the country were bashing it around, scoring a lot of runs, getting a little bit of confidence into their batting. We then went to Glamorgan, and it turned square there, uncharacteristically for 2 days, and then just flattened out. So again, we didn't get much momentum. So it was kind of a derailed Red Bull season, and that's no excuses. We have not been good enough, and that's one thing that really upsets me, because Red Bull cricket for me is still the epitome, and we want to be very good in that. We want to be in the places come September where we're challenging for promotion. I'll make no bones about that. So I've been really disappointed with our Red Bull season. It's caused me a lot of angst over the last while, but we got to, again, as I keep saying to the boys, show me a success story that hasn't had a struggle before. If we're not winning, we're learning. Those are things that we've taken out of it, and hopefully, having gone through this, particularly at the back end of the season now, it hardens us up for the challenges of next year.
Yeah, and I mean, something that you've often said, not just this season, but in the poor performances last season, was that our good performances are right up there, but our bad performances are too far away from that, and that's really been exemplified this season. That really you have been able to lose games really in the space of an hour at times, whether it's a poor hour with the ball or the first session at Sussex, for instance, where they were 161 without loss at lunch. How do you bring those two things closer together and ensure that it's the bottom moving up rather than the top moving down?
Yeah, look, it's form, it's confidence. Those are things that come into it massively. You're right. You don't win a game in a session, but you can lose a game in a session, and we've been pretty good at that over the last little bit, which is annoying, because for so many other phases of the game, we've been quite good. So, but when we've lost a session, we've lost it so poorly, we haven't been able to claw it back. So that's been a disappointment. But again, it's just making sure the players have a base, and their base. Always say, roots to grow, wings to fly. Roots to grow is your technique. It's your technique. It's your mentality to approaching situations. It's your physical strength and physical ability to get you through those situations aligned with your technique. So those are things that we'll just keep honing on continually through the winter, because this is a squad that I totally believe in, and I've said it numerous times. I believe 100% in the players we have in that dressing room, and it's up to me to get them going in that right direction, but also to keep them positive and to keep them confident. So it's been a real challenge towards the back end, but it's one that I am relishing, because I do love challenges.
Yeah, and let's just talk about you for a moment, because naturally when form is poor in any sport, there is an onus on the coach. There are questions around the future, whether that's from supporters, from the media. I know you've done pieces, you've spoken to Dave Fletcher, even after Chesterfield, and said how committed you were, and then since have spoken about that as well. But you are 100% committed to this project and seeing it through. 100%
I am. Every day makes me more committed and more determined to get it right. And I'll be open, honest, and very frank here. I haven't failed a massive amount of time in my career, so I am not going to do it yet. I am totally aligned and committed to this project. And as I say, a little bit of failure is going to make the success so much better, because I believe in it. I believe in our structure. I believe in our players. I believe totally and wholeheartedly in this county, and I'm immensely passionate about Derbyshire. So come hell or high water, we're going to make this work.
Yeah, and on that passion, it was last week at a members' forum, there was maybe a little bit of heated discussion, but that comes from that passion, and that's from the members wanting to win, and you wanting to win, and just wanting to all move in the right direction.
100%. Yeah, I'd be disappointed if I rocked up at a members' forum and there wasn't passion. But I'm also passionate, and I'm also like a cornered tiger. I also get very defensive about our players. I will never make any apology for supporting and backing our players 100%, because I love the boys. I love the team we've assembled. So in terms of that passion, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great, and it does get heated at times, and that's just the nature of it. That's the mentality I have, because when we're in battle and our backs to the wall, we're going to come out firing, and that's what we want to try and take into our cricket as well. So I've got no issue with that, by the way. I love the passion. I love having a tough conversation, and it's going to boil over at times. It's inevitable, but no hard feelings. Hopefully it shows how passionate I am about what we're doing here, and how much I back our players, and how much I back our project.
Yeah, and on that, and you can't compare different achievements. We've spoken about this in the past, but given where we're at the moment, if we were to turn it around in 2025 and beyond, and see that success, just how sweet would that be?
It's probably going to be the sweetest thing in my career. There's been, like, I've been very lucky. I've seen sides become number one in the world in Test cricket, won 50 over trophies, number one sides in 2020, 8 World Cups. I've been very, very lucky. But I promise you, my passion is right here. I'm not shying away from this. I take responsibility for this program. I'm incredibly committed to it. I live, breathe, eat, sleep Derbyshire cricket and how we're going to get this right. So yeah, I am emotional and I am passionate, but that comes from a very good place, because there's a burning fire in me to turn this around, because I take my responsibilities incredibly seriously.
Yeah, and lastly, just on that, you said at the start of this season that there would be no excuses. This was your squad now. There was a lot of upheaval with that squad. We won't see that much upheaval in 2025. Do you think, with a full winter now with this squad, that there will be a more settled base to begin from next season?
100% right. You know, we had 9 new faces, I think, in our dressing room. Now, 9 new faces in a dressing room, it takes a while to gel. It takes a while for people to settle in. It takes a while for people to understand their roles, to understand how they fit in, where they fit in, and when they fit in. It takes a lot of management to get that right. The players have been outstanding in what they do. The players are as passionate as I am about this county. The players are as passionate as I am about this project. They want this, and they want it badly. And we're not going to rest until we get it right.